shelf, there's a census sitting on a chair, there's a computer screen, there's sound, there's sensations in the body, there's a car driving past, there's just what's appearing to happen, and it's unknowable. It's so immediately is and isn't, it's nothing being everything, that it's completely ungraspable, unknowable, and inescapable. And this is an illumination that what appears to be happening is nothing being everything and is boundless unconditional love. And that's not something you can understand ever. You're never going to arrive at an understanding that will free you or liberate you or drop your sense of separation. Any understanding is simply within the story of the individual. It's the individual that understands, and that understanding is an abstraction from the sense, the lived sense, that if I was a person, an individual, I mean, I would be sitting on the chair. So there's not just sitting on the chair, there's a sense that I'm sitting on the chair. There's a sense that I'm seeing the car go past. I'm hearing the car go past. I'm seeing the shadows on the bookcase. I'm looking at the computer screen. I'm speaking. I'm hearing. You get the gist. So it's a really lived sense that everything is pouring through this sense of me, and it's not an idea. It's a lived reality. That there's a me that hears, there's a me that sits, there's a me that sees, there's a me that that experiences sensations, all of this. And it's very simple what's being suggested. It's very simple what's being yearned for. And that's the problem, apparently. The individual doesn't like simple, really. It wants complex, and it wants difficult to get to, because that is feeds that whole sense of knowing and striving for something that's around the next corner, that's in front of us in the future. And actually, the big joke, the divine comedy, is that what's yearned for always is simply whatever is appearing to happen. Sitting, seeing, sounds, but without this sense of me sitting, seeing, hearing the sound, so on. So this illumination is energetic, really, but there is an exchange. It seems like there's an exchange of ideas and concepts, and there's questions and there's answers, and that's just the way it works. That's fine. But really, this is concerned with a resonance that's not, you would not be able to put it into words, just as I can't, nobody can. It's an energetic resonance that it can be that sense of things happening to me just collapses, apparently collapses. And it's seen that me was never there. It was always a story. And then there's the mystery of there's just what's appearing to happen. There's just ordinary aliveness. And ordinary aliveness is absolutely stunning and completely ordinary. No idea what's going to appear to happen. There's an in loveness with what appears to happen for no one then. So let's see what apparently unfolds this morning.
Hi, Kenneth.
Oh, hiya. Hi, Inez.
Morning. Yes,
Hiya.
good. I have a question. I hope that question is not too heavy for a morning. It's regarding death, and as far as I know, you are working or you were working at a hospice. Is that the name?
Yeah, I worked in the area of palliative care for a while.
Palliative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just as a social worker, to be clear. I know someone before said something about medicine or something, and I didn't really catch it until it was gone. But just to be clear, I'm not a doctor or anything. I was a social worker. Yeah.
Okay, but you did see people dying, did you?
Oh yeah. That's the role of the role of a social worker in palliative, the area of palliative care is support to people who are dying. Yeah. So that was
So
it. Really. It's just
how
a role in a story, so it doesn't really. I didn't really. It came up occasionally, but it doesn't. It's of no significance at all. I could have been digging holes in the ground. It's really irrelevant.
but did you experience with people dying? Did you even get closer to this nothingness?
No, absolutely
No?
not. You can't get closer to nothingness because that would mean that it's a thing and you're something that can get closer to it.
Yeah.
So what's being said here, what's been shared is this is nothing being everything. So nothing being everything is sitting in a kind of orange cardigan and asking, nothing is asking about, did I get closer to nothingness? That's the immediacy of what's being pointed to. There's just what's appearing to happen, and what's appearing to happen is nothing appearing as everything. So non-duality or Advaita is that there's not two. Okay, so fundamentally we would feel that there's me and life and me with my life, and we feel that there's a thing called life and a thing called death, and I have life, I have my life, and then we're very, very curious about this death thing. It feels like some sort of it terrifies us, really. It terrifies us, and it's in general. I mean, not everybody is. There are people who aren't so afraid of dying, but fundamentally, we feel that there's a thing called life and a thing called death, and that we were born, that we live our life, and then we will die, and that's what's being suggested, is that's a story, because it's real and unreal. But you can only see the real part of it, which is that you appear to be born and you appear to die. And the suggestion is actually you were never born, because what you are is simply energy that appeared as you being born and will appear as you dying, but that nobody ever dies, really. So that's the long answer to your so like, like that would be an idea of death. People have an idea of death, and it's just simply an idea. Like there is no, this is death in the sense that there's no thing called death, because there's no thing called life. There's just what appears to be, and it is already life and death, because it's nothing being everything, and it's completely beyond understanding. But we want to know that it's beyond understanding, and we want to know what death is and all of that, and it's, of course we do, that's totally understandable, but it's not knowable at all.
I still have sometimes moments, or there are moments when I'm wondering, and it's so hard to put into words. But okay, when I look back at my relatives who have passed away,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, then there's a definite proof that it's all nothing. It's all about nothing, because no one ever cares about those people who are gone. I mean, except for
Okay,
a short
yeah.
while.
Oh yeah, like so your distant relatives
Yeah.
that have kind of been
Mm-hmm.
forgotten. So all the mourning is gone, all the sorrow is
Mm-hmm.
gone. And they're just a name on a
Yeah.
history,
Uh,
on a
great, great,
geogram or something.
yeah, great, great
Yeah,
grandmother who, I mean, she
yeah.
was also worried just as I'm worried, or
Yeah, the worry arose there just as worry arose. Every single emotion you can think of would have apparently arose in that body mind. And on the death of your great grandmother, it was seen by nobody that nobody dies. It's revealed on death to nobody that it's all a story. Um, like energetically, I would have felt that in palliative when you're with uh, if you're in the room with someone who's dying, um, it's a very interesting thing. Everyone approaches death differently, so it's just reflective of the the character and the personality and what's going on. So some people, it's there's a fighting up to the last, literally up to the last breath, and that's just what appears to happen. And then others, there's it's very different energetically. There's no struggle, there's no fight, and it's interesting because there's no fear of it, and it just it's some people speak about that when they're around. They feel they don't know why they're not afraid of death, but they, having been with their mother or their grandmother or their friend or someone who's died, they kind of sense that there's nothing to be afraid of, that nothing even happens. And it's just an energetic shift. That's all it is.
so all that. Well, what they say about people who came back, about and they see all their relatives and waiting for them. That's
Yeah.
bullshit, isn't it?
I don't know what it is. I can't really say that it's bullshit or what's going on there. It's just what appears to happen at that kind of juncture. It's something that happens, appears to happen. I don't know. It's energy appearing as it's your relatives waiting for you. But from this, what's been said here is there's certainly the idea that there's another place, after we die is just a nice idea dreamt up by the mind, because I have this life, and when this life is over, I transition into this other life, and all my relatives are there waiting for me, and whatever it is, it's just another concept. Like there's nothing really that can be said about death that would be accurate, really. Nothing I can say or anybody can say. I say, like, even me calling it an energy, an energetic shift feels a little bit much. It feels a bit wordy, and it feels a bit. It's not understandable or knowable. And there is, like, what's being illuminated here is there is no death. Nobody dies. It's the end. It's the end of something that was a story. It's an appearance. So if I was to die right here live on Zoom, keel over, it would be real and like it would be real in the story. So everyone would have a narrative, and it would be what would appear to happen. And then what's being shared here is that all there is energy, and energy appears as Kennethine, and the way the voice is, the way the goofy head is with the glasses a bit lopsided, and the way the humor is and everything. And all of that was just energy. And that energy is just aliveness. It doesn't go anywhere. that so nobody actually, what Kenneth was is doesn't die, and what you are doesn't die, and what anybody is doesn't die. That's what's being suggested. Like this, people wonder about death, and this is death. This is because there is no other thing called death.
So death is actually, I mean, if ever anybody doubts the non-duality, death is actually the ultimate truth or proof.
Well, this like I would doubt everything, by the way. I would doubt everything. And you know, when it comes to doubt, I'm the biggest skeptic going, don't believe a word I say. You know, this is not about a belief system. Like, what's the point in taking on some sort of belief system under non-duality? It's just another concept you've taken on then. Like, this is not about a belief. There's nobody been asked here to believe anything at all. This is a lived reality. It's the shift from a lived reality of feeling like there's life and there's my life to there just being aliveness, which is not describable. And it's the most enormous shift that could happen, and yet nothing happens. It's a massive paradox because you were never there anyway. Death is there is only just what's appearing to happen. So that's nothing being everything. So there is no other thing called death. That's really all I can. And nobody dies, only in the story. So that shift of out of there being a sense of there being me and my life is inevitable, because it will either appear to happen when there's in the body, or will appear to happen on the physical death of the body.
Mm-hmm.
So we fear, what really, when we're talking about death, we're fearing an apparent end. That's all. You know, it's not there is no end or beginning. And we're fearing our own absence. Actually, it's really what we're afraid of. We're afraid of us not being there, and that's the big joke, the Divine Comedy. That we're not there. You're already not there.
Yeah.
Nobody is there in that sense. They think they feel experientially that they are. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's just amazing. I was just thinking about. I just met some friends, and the amount of stories we are caught in. It's just amazing how we're just throwing back and forth stories, and it just.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's just yeah. We are stories. Like we are. So we like the individual is a story. So it's always continually just one big narrative spinning all the time. Yeah. And it feels completely solid and real, that he really did do that, and she really did say that, and this blah, blah, blah. And it's all empty. Like the invitation is always there to see it's all empty. It's all empty. Of course it's empty, because it's nothing being everything. It's nothing appearing as stories.
Yeah, but at the same time, you see them, how they hold on to their stories and don't want to get out of it. It's like their non-existent ego is just holding on to.
Well, there's not even really an ego. Like the ego is another story as well. As ego is like just another aspect of the individual, really. So the individual is just going to be an individual. That's what the individual is going to do. That's all it's interested in doing. So when you see what appear as other people, and they're so caught up in drama or story, that's just what's appearing to happen. It can't actually even be any other way. But they will, of course, they will not let go, because the very existence is that story. And all the time it can be seen that all of it is empty.
Yeah.
That it's all just a play of light. Always, no,
Yes.
it can always be seen, always. Of course it can, because all there is always is just simply nothing being everything. It's not as if there's an opening sometimes, or it's not as if there's an opening now when some character is sharing a suggestion that that you're a story, and that there's a Zoom or a meeting, that then there's an opening. It's inescapable.
The weird stuff is when somebody presents me a story and it's like triggering for me, even if I don't want to, I just come up with the same old answer or with the same contraction, the physical thing. And it's like I cannot change my reaction, not on
No.
purpose. It's just like automatic, boom, boom. Here comes some stuff from somebody and the same old story. And then there I go and have to push that, and I have to make it even bigger. And oh, it just,
Yeah.
it's like unavoidable.
Yeah, it's just what appears to happen as well. Like that, there's nobody being asked to not kind of get caught up in stories, or not get caught up in the narrative, or not react, or any of that, because then who would it be that would not react? Who would it be who would I be speaking to even? So it's just a scene that there's just energy. So there's just what's appearing to happen. So if there's an apparent reaction, that's what appears to happen. That's just like what's being suggested is what's yearned for is simply aliveness. Whatever appears to happen is simply what's yearned for. And that's it. It's inescapable. And then it can be that sense of it being happening to me, by me, all that just boom, it just apparently collapses. And then it's just so gorgeously unknowable, and it's indescribable. And if there's apparent reaction, there's an apparent reaction. Or if there's this feeling, or if there's something pleasant or something unpleasant or whatever, it doesn't matter. Whereas before, all of that matters. The content, it's all about the content. When you feel like a person, it's all about that. And it's all about me, really, when you boil it down, because it is in the narrative. It's this person said this to me, this I made me feel this, and me all the time. And that's the big joke, that there is no me. There never has been.
Yeah, that's a lovely message.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kenneth.
It is what it is. It's amazing, and it's a terrible message too. To the individual. Hi, Tobias. Hiya.
Hey, Kenneth. So I noticed, like, in a way, some moments when you speak, it's like something else is listening, and then other moments is like it feels like really a contraction is listening. Does it sound familiar?
Yeah. That's what's happening there then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's at the beginning, mostly I say at the beginning that it's and then it's a resonance. Really,
Yeah.
this is concerned with a resonance, not about understanding or knowing, or the anything that's said. So it can be that there's a kind of a like almost like a play between the two, that it can resonate And then there can be kind of a going back to focusing on the content of what's said.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
maybe trying to get it, and then that's it. Then that's what's appearing to happen there. Then
yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and also it's like I really don't understand. What is this? Is this a dialogue or what?
yeah. I mean, that's that, and what's being shared is that's it is whatever arises is it. So that idea, is it a dialogue? Then that's energy. That's
yeah.
Like this isn't anything actually, really. Once you try and pin this down, it's it's just a sharing. That's all. It's just a sharing and a suggestion without any goal or agenda, or there's no sense that I'm speaking to somebody else, because there is nobody else. It's very obvious what's being said here, just to say. It's so obvious. That's the problem. It's ridiculously, ludicrously obvious what's being yearned for by the individual. And that's why it's totally overlooked. So the individual, it's a continual just rejection of what's yearned for in favor of what they think they're yearning for. So an overlooking of this in favor of what might be.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Hi, Michael.
Good morning, Kenneth. I have one of my weird questions. I'm getting a lot of insomnia recently, and it's really annoying. I wanted to ask you about it.
Are you eating a lot of food?
No.
Because if you're not sleeping and you're eating a lot of food, it could be in some yum 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 yeah.
That's rubbish.
That's so good that people are going to think it was staged, Michael. That's how good
It's-
that is.
It really
People are
is.
going to think that we rehearsed that. It was so good.
Mm,
You got to appreciate a bad joke every now and again. Go on anyway.
that's it. I just wanted to use that as a prompt.
Life bad jokes.
Yeah, I want to use that as a prompt, as a springboard.
So yeah, that's what's happening then. It's just what's appearing to happen. Do you think there's some you want some reason behind it, or?
I just wanted to use that as a way in. Yeah.
Into what?
Like an access point to.
There was a sense that they wanted to speak.
Yeah, I wanted to use it as an access point, because sometimes when I ask you random questions, it becomes something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and anybody can. It's there's just speaking then. Yeah. So sometimes it is that you can't really think of a question, but there's a kind of a desire to say something, and that's what happens. Yeah. There's just speaking, there's just sitting, there's just whatever is appearing on the screen. It's very simple and ordinary. Sometimes it seems like there's no speaking. That's also just what appears to happen. Like when there's dialogue here and there's a question and there appears to be the answer, or a answer, an unsatisfactory answer. And when there's no speaking, there's not really any difference. Only there appears to be.
So there's an answer and there's no answer, but there's no difference.
No, I'm talking about when there's silence, because I think what you were saying was there was just a sense of wanting to punctuate the silence a bit by just asking about insomnia.
No, not really. I just think that sometimes when I ask you a question,
Oh, okay, yeah, I missed.
and you start talking about it, it takes me to, there's an experience, something happens.
Oh yeah. I think when you speak at these meetings, apparently, that's often the case, that you kind of have a question about something and then you get kind of sideswiped and there's maybe a resonance with something that wasn't what you thought, what you were asking. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because that is the way it is. I mean, it's the individual really feels that if they're looking for something, they would have a question about what it is they're looking for. So the logical thing is that there's an answer to the question. That's the way life functions. That's completely logical. So the amazing thing is that there is no answer to the question actually at all. And it can be that there's no question. So that's really what it is. It's a resonance, and the sense of there being a question can collapse because the question comes from a sense of separation, as someone who feels separate. And then if the sense of seeing, it can just be seen, you're not actually there. There is no separate you there. Then there's no question. There's just laughing, maybe. At the wrong time, actually, because he should have laughed at the joke. But anyway, we'll forgive it. There's just what's appearing to happen. There's no question because there's nobody who has a question about it, because it's unknowable, you see. There's only a question when it's in the known and it's knowable. Then there's a question. And the question really, all of the questions are really coming back to, why am I separate? Why is there the world and me? Why? Why have I been abandoned by wholeness, by everything?
Yes.
And you haven't, nobody's been abandoned, because you were never separate anyway. Like when at the beginning of this, we're talking about death, and all that death is really is a scene that that what you experienced yourself to be was just a story. It was always just a story. There never was a you there who had a life. So then there's no you there who's going to lose a life. It's gorgeous. There's nobody ever lost a life, because nobody ever had a life. They were just, Kennethine or whoever, Michaeline.
Yes, yes. So I feel the resonance now, and then there's a part of me saying, get him to say something else so we can get some
well,
more
that's
resonance.
that's just what's appearing. There's no part of you, because there is no you, but there's just that thought. Then I'll get him to say something else, and that's just also what's appearing to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally inescapable. What's being suggested here is just that if there's a thought, then that's what appears. If there's an emotion, then that's what appears. If it's negative, then it's negative. If it's positive, it's positive. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just interesting to notice the part that's like, get him to say something else.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi.
Katerina here.
Hi, Katrina.
I don't know if you can hear me well. If you can't, I'll stop, because I can't take this mask off right now.
I can hear you perfectly.
Good. You keep talking about this, that it cannot be known.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that very seriously, in the sense that that I have been trying to understand what the apparent reality is, and how it is manifesting, and what I am projecting, and therefore trying to change the conditioning in order to change the apparent reality.
Yeah, I think we spoke about that last time, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. And Nikki said last time on Sunday that this is just a loop.
Yeah.
And I heard that, and I just said, okay, forget it then. Forget the whole trying to understand reality, and through reality understand me and this relationship, because not as an end to something, not as a goal, like, okay, this is how I'll get enlightenment. No, but just that it's endless and tiring. So that's, I don't think there is a question there anymore, but
yeah, that's what's appearing to happen there.
That's what's appearing to happen. Yeah.
So that's what's appearing to happen. Like, if it was appearing that there's a sense of I'm trying to understand this, like, I am going to see the manner in which I have conditioned reactions to things, to stimuli, and to identify my triggers and my conditioning, and to, when I'm aware of that, then I can maybe change my reactions and not be so reactive in certain things when I understand that I react to that situation because of this past trauma, then that's what appears to be happening. That's just what appears to be happening. And then, then the seeing that, well, all of that is just a loop, then that's what appears to be happening. None of it means anything.
But it's liberating for the mind in the dual state that I am in. This is quite liberating. There is no more analyzing.
Oh yeah, totally. And it can be like it can be totally liberating. Like even conceptually, what's being said here can be very liberating. And that sense of striving to constantly get somewhere, or to constantly work on myself, or to adjust this, and that can die away or collapse, and it can be very liberating. Yeah. But that's not any kind of goal of this or anything, but it can be like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but hearing you say it cannot be known, reality cannot be, apparent reality cannot be known. It triggers something in the brain to say, okay, let's stop trying to understand it then. Let's just give up.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and then that's what's appearing to happen then.
Yeah,
there's nobody being asked to give up. But yeah, it is the sense that everything is knowable, and that I understand it and know it, and that all comes from a sense of me, the sense of there has to be an individual who knows, and knowing is fine. It's just a function in the story. That's absolutely, there's nothing wrong with knowing. And there's nothing wrong with anything. There's nothing wrong with the individual. There's nothing wrong with any of this. It's just an appearance. And then there's this suggestion that actually it's artificial. The knowing it's an appearance. That's all it is an appearance. And that can resonate then, that actually this what appears to be this aliveness is and isn't, because it's nothing being everything, and it's so immediately just what appears to be. It's not even immediate in the sense of time, of that it's here and then it's gone again or anything, that it's totally and utterly unknowable. And it's only the sense of a me that knows it, who abstracts knowing from what they feel separate to. And that feels completely real then. All knowing it's just as you feel real as an individual. But it is liberating. Yeah, it's gorgeous, really. It's gorgeous. The collapse of feeling everything is knowable and there's somewhere to get to, and the collapse of then there's just what's appearing to happen. It's so gorgeous. It's not describable even. And then it can just be seen. There's just simply, it's very simple what's being suggested. There's just what appears to happen. That's all. There's just aliveness, and it's not happening to you. It's not happening to anybody else, because there is nobody. There is no separate there never has been. Like, it was really lovely. The lady at the beginning was describing, Inez was saying about, it's so obvious how your ancestors, like you go back, your great grandparents and all, they just become names in a genogram or whatever. And there's nothing there. There never has. It's just a story. It's real and unreal. It's just a story. Just there is even no back there. There is even no great. All of that is from this, in the story of separation, that there's a past, a future, and a present, and it feels completely real. It feels totally real, but it's an appearance.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Maybe some of you will be in Dublin on the weekend, or I'll have a Zoom option as well. So there'll be a blended meeting on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, 2 2 to 5, I think 30. I think it's 2 to 5:30 London, say Dublin, Ireland time, or London, England time, Saturday and Sunday, and you can join via Zoom as well. So.
What about tonight? We got mixed
No,
up.
I can't do.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent a really gobbledygook email. At least I have people who pick me up very quickly, because I said one thing in the title, and then I mix up my AMs and my PMs and my. Anyway, we were apparently here, and we apparently enjoyed an absolutely delightful meeting. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Speak to you soon. Take care.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Kenneth.